Hey guys, I've been away for a little while because combination of getting sick and working, but I'm back working on the B-26, trying to get the joints to disappear because I've glued the body together. Got to go in and clean out some of the panel lines after I've done the filler on the joints. If you guys ever build this monogram, if you ever find this Revell or Monogram B-26 BG model, if you decide to build the B model, you have to do some major surgery on the plane, because the G model has a glass ball turret back here. The B model, you have to cut the tail off and add this to it, because this is the B model turret. Another thing that you have to do with this thing is, I have 3 ounces of weight here and an ounce of weight in each engine nacelle just to get this thing to sit on the nose wheel. The tail on this thing is heavy as all get out. And when you go to put this tailplane in, the seams are hell, because it's not very well made and cast. So you're gonna have to do some fitting before you put it in, and then after you put it in, it's gonna be a lot of work to get it to look right, because that's it sitting in place, and you can see how wild that seam is. And I picked up a new jig, which makes it a lot easier to work on it. It just sits down in it, makes it nice and I screwed mine down on a board so I can move it. Makes it nice. It just sits right here on the table. Take a couple of rubber bands, hook one there, come over the top, hook it there, hook it there, get it off the turret, hook it there. It's in there tight, and when you go to sand, might have to put some weight on it, because these seams are horrendous. As you can see how wide it is, but also right here is a flat that's under the, that goes under the glass. And I got masks for the glass on this one, so that I just paint it when I get it in place. So I've got all the interior done, all the interior painted, and look at the dashboard. You can see I used PE on the dashboard, where I showed that before. But this is the reason, if you look there and then do this, you realize that whole dashboard is going to be visible. So and another thing I did that a lot of people who are military will understand is, I don't know if you can see it, but I put yellow marks on the 50 cal can, because when you get this in, you'll be able to see it from the other side of the, usually we go this way, you'll be able to see it from this side of the nose, because the nose is all glass. And I'd rather it look real than be half-ass. Turret, rear turret elevates and spins. The masks don't include the rear turret. I've got pictures of a B model that I'm going to use to mask off the turret so that it's correct. The Rear glass is masked off. The rear gun is painted, so I'll have to mask it when I paint the plane. The paint job is relatively easy. It's gray, dark green, olive green patches. So it's an easy, relatively easy paint job. The parts don't all fit like you want them to. I put one of the rear waist gun positions closed and one of them open because the boarding for this plane is that waist gun position. So the guns are in their stowed position, which is in the middle. But this waist gun door doesn't exactly fit the opening because most people are going to put the waist guns pointing out and not think about the fact that they're putting it on the ground. Another thing that I've run into with this on the wings they mount like this, but where the inside of the wings don't perfectly line up, when I put them on, I've got to push them, so I got to trim those so that they'll sit right on here. But in there's an ounce of weight. In here, there's an ounce of weight. Just to get this thing being that it is a tricycle landing gear plane, and unfortunately I don't have a workbench in our office, so my workbench is my dining room table. Just to get this thing, when you put your tailplane in, you'll notice that it stays sitting on the wing, sitting on the nose wheel. Now when you put tires on it, it's going to jack it up where it sits almost level. But still, if it'll sit like this, you've got a good amount of weight. But right here is the joint I'm talking about. There's it sitting natural. There's me pushing it back. So it's wanting to sit here. So that and that are offsetting the wing. Both of them are doing it. And there's going to be a little bit of a fight to get the joint filled out on the wing. But another thing about this plane, the top of your bomb bay is on one of your wings. So you got to watch maneuvering it, because it, once you push it in place, helps to center the right wing. So those two ribs are supposed to be where it sits on the body. So you can glue here to help hold your wing in place. But I ain't got that far yet. I'm still in the sanding phase. You can see the bottom sanded out real nice. Right here I still got a little bit of sanding to do, but the front I didn't even have to fill. The glue joint itself filled it, as did back here. I got a little bit more sanding right here. But it's going together real nice. I've got the masks on the plane. I've got one mask to put here. I just haven't done it yet. It's still on the sheet, because if you're going to use masks, make sure you know which one goes where, because sometimes the way they're done, they don't cover exactly right, and you try to figure out why, and then you look at the plane and realize there's a band around the window because it's got a bolt, it's got a blister on it, so it sticks out. So when I got a little bit of filler to do right here, so this looks right. And when I put this in, this is going to be a nightmare because it slips in. It's got ribs on the bottom. They're supposed to follow the body, and then that's supposed to mount. But when you get it in place, it's not the greatest. That's it sitting in place. So always remember, unless you're doing something like this where you're building a plane for somebody else, or a car for somebody else, or a ship for somebody else, build it like you want it to be, because that's the only way you'll be satisfied with your build. If you're doing something for somebody else, research the crap out of it. I've got pictures of this plane from Jane's squadron books that show exactly how this plane looked at 78 missions. And what I'm doing for right now is where it took off on its 96th mission. And if you look up, if you look on the internet, you will find people that actually do custom decals. I found a guy in Kentucky that does them. Him and his wife are both retired. They both love modeling. So that's their hobby income, is they make decals. And they're making the decals for this one for me. I just gotta wait on them to ship, and I'll have the decals for it so I can finish it up and build the diorama. I will try and give you guys more heads up on the diorama, but I'm going to try and get her painted over Thanksgiving weekend so I can try and get her shipped. I will also try and give videos so that you guys can see me painting or see how I do it. You guys have a good day. And like I said, build it like you wanted it to be, because that's the only way you'll be satisfied with your build. Have a good night.